Yo, Pale Blue Wave here. We are going to be doing a new edit today. This is of a stranger I met on Southeast Hawthorne, and we got some beautiful photos of her. And actually, she was on a first date. So we got some pictures of her and her first date. But these are pretty awesome. I feel like I did my job pretty well. So we got a lot of editing to do. Here's the first date. Some pictures from them, so we'll edit these in front of the Baghdad, and then she wanted some pictures individually. So we got a lot to edit today, and these are just looking like they're begging for a film look. I mean, look at these photos. Crazy. So I think we'll start with these because they're just epic in my opinion. And unedited. I mean, they're not even edited yet, and they look friggin' amazing. So let's dig right in. Let's start with these. This one. This one's crazy. So we're going to be doing a film stock look. This is digital, but we're going to make it look like film. Give it a kind of retro vintage vibe. And to do that, we're going to start out. This already has a ton of contrast, which is unusual for my style, I guess, but there's lighting's very contrasting. So what we're going to do is we're going to barely have to do is drop the mids a bit, and then we're going to lift up. Sorry guys, one sec. So we're going to drop the mids just slightly. We're going to push up the shadows, and that's what film stock really looks like, is really faded shadows. So we're going to fade those a bit. I'm not 100% sure if we're going to keep it this way. We're going to drop the mids again just to bring back some contrast. Then we're going to pop up the highlights. We might not fade these because the deep blacks kind of look nice. But let's start with a fade and we'll see where we go. We shall see where this ends up. The other thing I did was calibrated my monitor because I noticed that my photos in Lightroom were not looking how they looked on my iPhone. So I did a quick adjustment of my monitor to make it look more like my iPhone. The photos were coming out really yellow on my iPhone. So anyways, make sure you guys think about that. Okay, for a film stock look, we're going straight into color grading after we worked on the curves there a bit. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to increase exposure slightly. This might be a tougher edit than I thought it would be. Anyways, let's go straight into the shadows. We're going to push. What you usually see in film stock is you'll see like greens to reds to yellows bleeding through the shadows. So what we're going to do is we're going to push hard into greens at first. And obviously this looks ugly, but we're going to use this important slider called balance. And we're going to, if you push balance down, the green comes through your whole dynamic range. But if you push it way up, it only comes through a select part of the shadows. And that's what we want. We want a very little bit of green coming through the shadows, kind of like that. So yeah, usually we end up between 70 and 90. And what you see there is just the shadows coming through. But you notice also, what you see is the greens coming through the shadows, but you notice that the greens also sucked out some of that red, healthy color in the skin tones. And we're going to add that back in the mids. So we're going to go to the mids and we're going to push down into the reds a bit and just adjust the hue till we see kind of what we like. And I think right around there. And then you can adjust saturation, like how much red do you want. I think that looks fair. It's very yellow. I'm going to go back to shadows actually, and I realized we didn't actually try different hues just to see, do we want warmer or do we want kind of this green? And I think we'll probably want somewhere in the middle, right around here. Let's go down to our change. Yeah, a little warmer. So that looks fine. Now with highlights, what we usually think about is white balance and the skin tone. But with backlighting like this, it kind of changes things because the warmth is super important. The yellows and the orange are super important. So usually I go to like 233 or 228 or something within the highlights. And you can see it sucks out a lot of the yellows. But with backlighting, I don't know if we exactly want to do that. Sometimes with backlighting, I actually add red or oranges to the shadows. But actually, pulling out some of the yellows look kind of nice. Let's try like a warmer highlight and just see like this orange. But yeah, I don't think we need more orange. And also with like saturation, we can add in more orange. It's 201. As you go farther down the hues towards reds, you'll see the skin tone turn a bit more red. So what you should be doing is dialing in your skin tone here. And I think 210 looks about right. And then you can adjust saturation, like how much of the warmth do you want to suck out, and very, very little. Actually, I don't even know if we want to suck out any. Maybe increase. The hue a bit. Looks pretty good. Let's see. This little eyeball, it will take away the... Okay, that looks kind of nice. It adds a little blue to the skin. A little more dynamic skin tone. And then you can decrease the balance. See, this gives it much more of a film look as you decrease more of the balance and let more green come through. But I think that looks about right. Around here, let's just go to like 80, whatever. Okay, the other thing I've been doing lately, which I don't know if we're going to do it on this one because this looks really nice. I've been adding grain. So what I've been doing is like 40 and then 60 on the sides, which is really aggressive. But I think I really like the texture it gives. So here's before and after, and it adds some nice texture. It makes the photos look a little less digital. And I've also been decreasing clarity a bit. So like that. The thing is, you have to be a little careful with clarity because I shoot open at 1.4. So your focus is already so pinpointed that sometimes if you decrease clarity, it can look a little out of focus. But as you can see, well, you can't really see it now actually, but it is focused on the eyeball. Her left eyeball. But yeah, this looks pretty good. Let's just increase exposure slightly. Let's see what we started with. Here's raw. Here's the edit. Yeah. It's not great. Not great yet. Let's go back into our curves. Just adding more contrast. Do we like the fade or just a little fade? I don't know about the clarity decrease actually with her. She's so like, her cheekbones are so nice that I don't know if we really need to decrease clarity at all. Okay, I think it's a good starting point. I don't know. That's okay. I guess the other thing would be vibrance. Let's see if like adding a little vibrance. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Add a little vibrance. And then saturation. I never use the saturation bar. I always use calibration because saturation will just saturate every color equally, which is just kind of a blunt object. So calibration at least separates some of your saturation by primary. And then if you need a very sharp tool, you can use HSL, which will saturate individual colors or change the hue or luminance of a individual color. So let's start with greens. I always start with greens and blues because reds usually are already saturated. Like I rarely ever have to increase. And I don't even know if we're going to need to saturate anything with these because they're already so orange. Now the thing is, okay, maybe we can saturate a little bit, but you can see the skin tone gets very orange. So to fix that, I'd go into HSL and decrease saturation on oranges. And then you can see like before and after, is it worth it? So like here versus this, it looks exactly the same to me. It actually looks kind of worse probably. So we just don't need any saturation. It's already to me very saturated. So I think we're good with this. It's not perfect yet, but it's a start. It's a start. Let's just check the hue. You want a little warmth in the shadows here. Actually, that looks nicer. And then let's just try to push up saturation, decrease. Okay. We kind of want to like decrease saturation. Well, actually, maybe not. This is just like what editing is. See what you like. See what looks good to you. And adjust as you feel fit. The highlights kind of are bothering me. Yeah, this isn't working. Maybe like here. I don't know. It's almost like we don't even need any highlight saturation. Or if we do, just such a tiny amount to give you can see the highlights kind of get a nicer color on the skin tone. So very little. Anyways, let's copy this over. And really the goal here is we're going to have, that needs a new edit. Actually, I don't even like this photo. We're going to get rid of this photo. Okay, we have like 40 photos or something. And what we really need is probably like 7 or something. So like our goal here is to do a quick edit and see this, that kind of pasted okay. We're going to do a quick edit. We're going to finish the video because I make videos, guys. And then we're going to have like 7 photos to finalize. And then I'll come back and do final touches. And I'll show it to you guys. I'll show all my work on this one. So I'm just increasing exposure, decreasing our mids just to give it some contrast. They look okay. The photos look okay. I'm thinking maybe we don't need grain. Oh, this is nice. I'm just pasting in. It looks like the colors look muddy to me though. That's the only thing. Very muddy colors. Kind of what I mean by that is all kind of blends together in a not so great way. And the greens I don't think work here. But anyways, this is kind of the process, and then I'll link back up with you guys once I finish the video. This is kind of a dreamy photo. I kind of like this photo actually. Like it's not, the eyes are, I don't know if they're right, but this is more traditional, so it's kind of boring photo. Actually, I don't like that photo at all. We'll just get rid of that. Here's a very classic photo. Look over the shoulder. Just going to increase exposure, decrease the mids, more contrast. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to copy this one now because the more contrast looks nice. Ooh, that doesn't look good though. Too much highlights. Increase exposure. Yeah, I don't really like that photo. This photo we probably aren't going to use, so we'll just get rid of that one. We're trying to get the best here. Yeah, too much highlights on these. This is a kind of a nice photo. The problem is it's a little posed. So I liked when it wasn't so posed, you know. This looks okay. It's very posed, you know. This is okay. See, this is not really posed. Like I couldn't tell her to do that if I wanted to. But it's a very nice photo. I'm just drinking my coffee. Oh, it's getting kind of cold. I need to focus on drinking coffee, guys. It's my favorite part of the morning. Here is an extreme posed photo, but like, she looks like a superhero. The question is, which one do we like more? This one or this? This one? Or this one? Oops. Yeah, this one or this one. The hair blowing is kind of nice, but this one's kind of perfect. Anyways, we'll see. I might get rid of the grain. Oh, I don't know, actually. This looks really nice. That's a good photo. I love that photo. I think it's probably better than this one, but we'll keep both. I got a new keyboard, and it's hard to hit the right buttons because I'm so used to a different layout. This one's okay. This got a lot more backlight. Okay, well, we did our job. The edit's not perfect yet, so we're gonna have to work on the edit. But let's, I already told you guys, this is a good candid shot. Yeah, it needs its own edit though. This edit does not paste well at all. Like, we might as well just leave it. That's a good candid shot though. And yeah, these edits aren't gonna work. I guess we'll just edit this one too, guys, because we have a bunch at this angle here. Yeah, let's just edit this one. Okay, so similar. Let's increase exposure because it's slightly underexposed. I always kind of overexpose and then I bring it down in the curves. So I go to the curves, bring the mids down to give it contrast, push up the shadows slightly, increase the highlights back up. You don't want to push too hard because it looks unnatural, and yes, it's dark, but we're going to increase exposure. So maybe right around there. And then we're going to push exposure up again till it looks somewhat natural, maybe like 0.48, 45. Okay, that looks acceptable. And bring these mids down a little more. That looks good. Highlights up slightly. Okay. That looks pretty good. So that's just curves and exposure before and after. You can see a little more contrast. Looks pretty nice, not bad. Let's go to color grade, guys. So same idea. We're gonna push hard into the greens. Oh, we're on highlights. That's not good. Go to shadows, push into the greens, and then increase balance. Probably around here, 83. And then we're gonna adjust the hue to try to find what we need here. It looks like we need, you can see the skin tone getting kind of bad, but we need some warmth, maybe. Maybe right around here. I'm just gonna. Yeah, the skin tone needs help. Okay, go to your mids and let's see. Do we need to add reds? I think we do. I think we do need to add some red back in. Like that. It's like blue, deep blue, maybe purplish before and after. Yeah, it gets rid of some of that yellow. I don't know. We don't want to get rid of all the warmth though. Let me see. Maybe we want more red. Yeah. Maybe a little more purplish. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, highlights. Now this one, we're going to really see the power of the highlights. We're going to really white balance some of this, I think. Let's go to like 230. 219. This is shooting very red. It's interesting. And actually, now that I look at this, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with the highlights before and after. Okay. Actually, yeah. See how it's yellow toned and then this sucks out some of that? I think we do. The only other thing was maybe we push warmth into the eye. No, that's not working at all. Unless you do like one. But yeah, even that doesn't look good. Well, actually it looks fine, but the problem is I think we need to use the mids, not the highlights to do that. So let's push some blues into the highlights, and then we'll add some more reds in the mids and maybe even the shadows. So let's go like here. 228. And then shadows. Let's just relook at shadows. That looks good. Mids. Let's push harder on the mids, maybe. Yeah. Well, it's looking kind of monotone now. There's red. It's missing something. It's missing something. Maybe it's some vibrance or something. Let's try vibrance and just see. Yeah, that looks better actually. Gives it some pop to the colors. Let's go into saturation. We're gonna push up green primary. Yeah, this looks good. That looks good. It needed some color. That was the problem. It looked really flat, which like you can tell the other backlighting one didn't look really flat, but these are really flat in the colors. So you got to be able to pivot, guys. Now it looks better. I mean, that's very saturated for my style, but I think it looks way better. Let's add some, we're going to add some grain. If I can frickin' find it, guys. Okay, here it is. Let's do like 40 and 60. Really aggressive grain. Looks good. I think what we're going to do is make it a little more faded, and then we're going to maybe change up the shadows a bit. So, and let's actually look at clarity. Let's just decrease clarity a bit. Okay, that's too much. I really don't think we need to touch clarity with her. I kind of want this sharpness. Maybe -2 is fine. Okay, let's take a look at our curves again, because it's missing like a pop, you know? So we can fade the shadows a little more. Okay, yeah, I think that's needed. And then bring down the mids a little. Bring up the... Okay, no, we're getting a little too much there. Around here, maybe. Yeah, we might have gone a little crazy. We might have gone a little wild there. Okay, I think right around there looks good. Let's look at the highlights. Yeah, I think the highlights were kind of dialed. I think the highlights were dialed. Oh yeah, I didn't even move. Oh, I did move it slightly. No, I kind of like it darker. Okay. Now, the only other thing, let's look at balance, which is down here. Do we want a little more bleed through of this hue? It looks like yellowish. And then we can go to shadows. Maybe we want to change the hue slightly. Nah. Before and after? No. I'm just seeing, do we like any of these better? No. Okay. Still missing something. I don't know what though. Not sure what. Okay, I think it's a good start. Do we want the grain? It's a good start, guys. We'll finish the rest. Sometimes you need a little break with your eyeballs too. We'll finish. We'll paste these over. It looks okay. It doesn't look bad, you know. Looks okay. Increase exposure. And what we'll do is we'll finish. I'll make the video. I'll come back. We'll finish the edits. And you guys can see my final touches. Yeah, this one needs its own edit. I'm just going to keep it for now. But that needs its own edit. This is kind of a nice candid shot. Needs its own edit though. It's very orange. Yeah, these are all going to need... See, these you don't need to saturate. I don't know if I like that photo, honestly. This probably will paste okay. Yeah, it's very saturated. Crooked as well. I don't think I'll use that photo, honestly. This one's okay. That's an okay photo. Meh. I don't really dig that photo. This one is candid, which I like. Must drink coffee, guys. Background sucks. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're back here. Okay, the only other thing we need to edit is these pictures, which I guess we can try to paste. It might work. No, that doesn't work. Okay, let's edit these, the couple pictures. As you can see, it's overexposed, so I'm just going to drop exposure a bit. I'm going to pull down the mids, give it some contrast. I don't know about the shadows. I might be barking up the wrong tree trying to fade these shadows, but we'll figure it out later, guys. Highlights up a little bit. Let's go into the color grade here. These we're definitely going to have to use one of these, you know, or maybe two. Pushing in the greens, push balance up. I think it probably needs warmer. Yeah, warmer shadows. Like there. All right, we're going to push reds into the midtones. Probably right around there. Maybe a little less. And then highlights, we're going to just see if we can get the skin tone dialed in. That looks okay. Before and after, it's a little much. Sucks out too much warmth. Even this sucks out too much warmth. I kind of like the warmth of it as is. Okay, we'll do like 1. Even that, I honestly don't even know. We might want some warmth added into the highlights. So let's increase the saturation and then just add in some red and just see what it looks like. No, that don't work. Okay, so we either like, we either do, I think just this is fine too. Nah, I don't even think we need any, honestly. Let's just keep it 0. Looks like, I kind of like the warmth on it. It does need some vibrance, so let's add some vibrance. As you can see, when you push vibrance, the blues get really blue. So what you can do is you can increase vibrance, but then go to HSL and just decrease the saturation on your blues so it looks not as insane. Probably right around there. It's looking better. Saturation, calibration on greens, oranges. Yes, this was needed. That looks pretty good. Let's try red. No. Look at his lips get so pink. We're just going to decrease. I guess they're pink already, but all right. It's kind of a boring edit, honestly. Kind of a boring edit. Not going to lie. There's just no like life to it. That's my only thinking here. Color grade, kind of boring. Let's try decreasing the, okay. Decrease the balance a bit. Get a little more bleed through. Oops. I should be on shadows, not our mids. And just see. Yeah. A little less red in the shadows bleeding through. I kind of like the red. All right, I think that's good enough to start. I mean, might be a little underexposed. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we're gonna copy this and we will paste it in. The other thing I realized is I have a edit from this woman I did before, this girl. Wow, that's pretty dark now that I look at it. Oh, I didn't finish it, that's why. Let's go to the blues. These are finished. Let me just steal the edit and see what it looks like on one of theirs. Let's just see. I don't know if it's gonna work, but same day, you know. Wow, very saturated. Yeah, it doesn't work at all. Very crazy edit. Is there anything I like about it? The thing I like to do is there anything I like about it? And maybe, now that I paste that in, this one looks a little yellow, actually. So that would be fixed with some highlights. Right around there. So here's before and after. Yeah, I don't really like it. I don't know, guys. Something's off with these, but we're gonna call good, and we'll do some final touches later. I'm not sure which photos we're actually gonna use, but we'll figure that out as well. Oh, I fixed the exposure. Fix the exposure. These are crazy. Like, wow, what is wrong with these photos? My cat wants to go out. I don't know what's wrong. All right. We're going to call it good for now, guys. I know it's not perfect, but the reality is, let's finish the freaking video, you know? Let's finish the video. I'm going to copy this. Finish the video. I'll come back. We'll finish the edit. This is part of my process, so you're going to have to deal with it, okay? That's kind of a good pick. They both look good there. And then here's like the real model photo. Both look like models. Okay. Maybe it's just cool. Maybe it needs some warmth. Yeah, I think it does need some warmth, which is very rare. All right, guys. I'll be back in, well, it'll be no time for you. See you soon. Yo, all right. We are back to finish this off. We have 7 photos that we're going to be using. So let's get right into it. We are almost done with the video. So what I realized is I kind of like it darker like this. So I think like the exposure's right on. I'm going to be switching back and forth between my DaVinci Resolve and my Lightroom, because I just want to see how this looks on my phone, make sure it looks good on my phone as well as my screen. And it looks pretty solid. Looks pretty good. I'm just going to try to go a little more on the, bring the mids down a little bit. This one is the most successful one because it's darker. I realized it's darker and I like that. I like that it's darker. So just going to drop the highlights just slightly. And then what I want to do is increase saturation. So let's just try a little more saturation. 18 and like go a little harder. And then what I want to do is bring down orange specifically. Like that. So here's what we start with. And it's a very different look. I might try a little, bring the clarity down even more. Okay, let's see how this looks. It's kind of orange in the face, but we'll see. And what I'm going to do is just compare them on my phone, how they look. And it is much better with saturation. Looks pretty good. Now, let's dial in the tone curve. It's interesting because it's dark on my screen, but it's quite a bit lighter on my phone. But I always go right to the medium point in my brightness on my phone, so I guess we'll just say it's fine. I'm going to bring down the mids a lot more. And let's just fade the blacks even more and just see. This is a little more intense, but let's just see what that, it looks crazy on my screen, but maybe we need to recalibrate the brightness on my screen. All right, let's take a look. Well, it's definitely different and it's better, I would say, but it's so dark on my screen, but it's not that dark on my phone. It's kind of intense, but maybe we should trust my screen. Just going to increase exposure 0.09. Let's just see what that looks like. It's a little too much. Let's just do 0.63. Okay, guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to calibrate my screen better. Screen is calibrated a bit there. Yeah, okay. Screen was just a little dark, I think. Let's see, what can we do with this? Let's see the colors. Let's try a little less balance. Increase the roughness on the... Ooh, increase the roughness on the grain. Okay, we're starting to look pretty interesting, I feel like. Pretty interesting. I think we're like there with this photo. I'm just gonna mess with a little more saturation. I know it's kind of seems crazy, but let's just try it out. And then decrease some orange a bit. Let's just see how this looks. This is quite the shot now. I'm very much liking how this looks. A lot of grain. It's easily the most grain I've ever put in a shot before. The saturation kind of brings up the luminance on the front of the face. But I can't tell if I like that or not. Yeah, let's go with it. I think it's nice. So before and after is a pretty big difference, and it looks pretty freaking good to me. We're gonna ship that, guys. We're gonna ship it. Looks good. Okay, next one. Let's go to this one since it's similar. So we'll just copy this. Which one are we working on? This one here. All right, we're gonna paste this in. It's gonna be very different. It's a lot. It's a lot of saturation. We're just gonna pull down some of this saturation a bit. It looks like too much decrease in clarity maybe. It's a lot of grain. It's a lot of grain. All right, let's try it out. Let's just see how it looks. It looks a little too like edited. Very hyper aggressive editing, which is not really my usual. Yeah, this one needs some help, I feel like. It's just, maybe it's just too... I'm just messing with the curves to try to nail this in. Maybe the fade is a little too much, maybe. Okay, well that brightened it up a lot. So let's bring back a little of that contrast. Let's try this out. It might just be that I don't like the real deep saturation we got going on with this. Okay, well that's better, I think. Maybe this is good. Maybe it's just good. Maybe it's vibrance is the problem. Just take away all vibrance. Let's try that out. Very small shifts. Okay, we can do that. But still something's wrong. And it might just be overexposed, actually. Just drop it down to like 6. It looks so dark on my screen, though, which scares me. Yeah. But that's better. Definitely better. Maybe 6.3 or 6.5. 6.5 looks about right. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, I feel good about that now. That looks pretty solid. All right, let's go move on to the next one. Let's actually use this one for the next one because I like the lack of clarity on this one and the really hardcore grain. I think it will look good with this picture, which is what we're gonna do next. See, that looks pretty good to me. All right, let's export that straight away. That looks pretty good to me. That looks way better. Okay, let's see here. Okay, it's definitely better. It's just still overexposed. Let's try that negative 0.08. That looks a little better. We're really close, guys. Okay, I'm definitely getting there. We're getting close, guys. I think it can get a little more. Let's try bringing down the mids. Wow, that's really, really dark, but let's just see what that looks like. It looks pretty good. It's very dark with the blacks. The blacks are really black. It looks pretty good, except I kind of liked it a little hazier, like maybe in the halfway point between those two. Like that, maybe. Yeah. Let's see. We want it a little blacker, but we want still the haziness to look solid. So we might have hit it right on the head there. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see between the first. Okay, perfect. I think that's perfect. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Why did that set to 1? What is happening? Okay. I don't know. We'll paste that in there. Let's see how this looks. Okay, that looks a little intense. Like there's some issues here. I'm gonna try taking this one. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, we're getting closer. I'm gonna drop the exposure and then bring the mids down slightly, like that. I think the grain really works really well with these, because like there's these particles in the air that looks really nice. Oh, the other thing is we might want to whiten the teeth, actually. Let's see. We'll see after. We'll dial in the exposure and then we'll whiten it. I think it's just overexposed, which is scary because it doesn't look very exposed on. It looks really dark on my computer, but not on the phone. I feel like I have contrast issues with my monitor. All right, let's do the teeth. So what we'll do is we're going to create a mask for the teeth. I hope to have this live in the next 40 minutes. That's my goal. We have a few more edits to do, but let's see. What you don't want is, so we drop the temperature. What we don't want is blue teeth though, which now they look a little green, so we might want to push red into them a little bit. Just a little. That, okay, let's see before and after. Get rid of the red. Yeah. See, you don't want it to be blue like that. It's looking closer at 11. Negative 11. That might look good. Negative 9. 3 red. That looks pretty good to me. Negative 4 saturation. Let's bring back in the saturation. Probably won't be able to tell a difference. Yeah. Okay, we'll just keep it there. That looks pretty good. Just a little whiter. Last few photos here. So we need this. Okay, we need to do these two. And then we have this one. Let's do this one first. Maybe a little underexposed. Pull down the mids. Get some more contrast. Let's look at these highlights. Don't want it to be shiny, you know? Bring a little more saturation. And then what we'll do is decrease orange in the HSL. very, very orange. Like that. Before and after. Let's see if we can just give it a little more contrast. And then maybe it doesn't need much else. Maybe it doesn't need much else. Let's just export that, see how it looks. Okay, definitely better with more contrast. We could even give it a little more, maybe. Like that. Okay, it's definitely better. Like, we're getting there. It's just like a little dark. I think I should trust my screen a bit more compared to my phone, for sure. Screen's playing tricks on me, I think. Yeah, it was too dark. It looks really flat. I'm just decreasing the mids and then popping up overall exposure, and maybe that will kind of even out the whole photo. Because right now it looks really flat on my screen. Okay, I think we got it actually. Yeah, that looks good now. Okay, that did it. We just need to bring those mids down a bit. Okay, that looks really nice. All right, I'm happy. Heck yeah. Okay, we're good. That's it, guys.